I've got my old friend from high school T-Bone, and with this, as you can see, we're playing Fire Pro Wrestling World today. I'm going to be doing our first match as Zack Sabre Jr. He's going to be doing our first match as Kenny Omega, and now here's T-Bone.
Hey, Mark. I'm just so honored to be on the first episode where you have a guest, and hopefully I don't screw this up like you screwed up my car on the way to WrestleMania.
Okay, so it was two tires, the wind, the mirror, and what else? I mean, it wasn't that horrible that I screwed it up.
Two tires, a mirror, and something else. But
Yeah, well, the CV joints wasn't
I,
my fault.
well, I just remember my dad had to fix it with duct tape so we could get home.
Yeah, the mirror was bad. I wasn't watching that one as we were backing out. Yeah, I might have screwed that up a little bit. But the CV joints were not my fault. That was something that had been going a long time. All right. So the big deal today is we're going to be talking a little bit wrestling, current, past, maybe future, depending upon whether our time machines are working. So I figured why not play a wrestling game that we both had while we're talking wrestling. So, big news in wrestling these days is WWE finally has some new challengers. We've got the AEW, and we've got, of all people, NWA coming back with a studio broadcast on YouTube every week.
Well, you know, I've said this to multiple people. I probably said this to you off of here, but if you had told me that the leader of Smashing Pumpkins, of all people, would make NWA into something we could actually watch, I would not have believed you.
I wouldn't have either. Not until about a week or so ago when it started up on TNA on YouTube again. Ooh, I gotta move in. You'll hear me make references like that every so often because he's been playing this game practically nonstop. I've played it like twice.
Yeah, alright, but okay.
Woohoo.
Yeah, alright.
But yeah, I mean,
Gotcha.
the lead singer of Smashing Pumpkins putting a watchable wrestling federation, or rather association, on YouTube. 20 years ago, when we were in high school, and we would do the New Age Outlaws routine every time we saw each other in the hallway. Oh crap! How do I get back into the ring? Oh, that way.
Like that. Trippy, trippy, flippy. So what were you saying?
Yeah, thinking about stuff like that 20 plus years ago when we were in high school, I never would have thought of Smashing Pumpkins. Oh, shit, I grabbed a chair. I didn't mean that. No, stop that. Why do I get two chairs? Three chairs! Oh, that was weird. Yeah, I never would have thought that if anyone musically in high school, I would have figured it would have been someone from like Tool or
Right.
Nine Inch Nails or something, but Smashing Pumpkins putting wrestling back on the map, putting the NWA back on the map specifically, never would have thought it.
I know.
Um,
Well, just two episodes in, I find myself glued to the set. Every Tuesday at 6:05, I make sure I'm watching on my big screen in my man cave office, and I'm enjoying it.
yeah, I haven't yet watched it on my big screen yet. I've just been watching it on my tablet, but it brings it back a little bit more watching it on a smaller screen because watching all the old school studio wrestling like WCW Saturday Night and all those, watching them on smaller screens back in the day, not on the big screens like we have today.
I know.
It feels more appropriate watching it on a small, in my case, 10-inch laptop monitor. And after the first episode 2 weeks ago, one of the first things I said was, I never would have assumed that I would have missed a studio-based wrestling show that much.
I remember, and I felt the same way. And really, I didn't get cable till like late '94, so my only memories of studio wrestling was in New Jersey. My grandparents had Superstation TBS, and we got
Yeah.
maybe the last of the Jim Crockett, but that was about it.
Yeah, and just seeing a studio-based wrestling show again was just so many good memories, so much flashbacks to youth, and so much better than then because actually the quality, well, obviously with modern cameras and modern video equipment, the quality is obviously going to be better, but just
Right.
overall, it was just a much better experience than back in my teens and early. Um, and then let's bring us on.
Exactly.
Let's bring us on to AEW because you've got
All
one of the
right.
star. You're using one of the stars of AEW in this match right now.
I am. And
Um,
he just won the bit of breaking news if you didn't know. He just won at the Antonio Pena AAA Mexico show they had last night. He won the Mega Championship from Ray Phoenix.
well, very nice. I did not know that. I didn't get around to watching that. Just like I forgot to get around to watching this week's AEW. But I have watched the first 2 episodes of AEW, and I gotta say, I have not been watching much wrestling in the past few years because WWE just kind of like lost me with a
Well,
lot of
even I have
different
to
things.
admit that's pretty much true right now.
Oh crap! There it is, the one-winged angel.
Yeah.
2.9.
So
Now,
anyway, what were you saying?
I've got to say, AEW has gotten me back into being a wrestling fan.
That's great.
It everything's done so well. Everything Jericho #1, and just seeing some people I've never seen before. I've heard the names before, but for the longest time when I stopped watching WWE, I just stopped caring about any type of even indie wrestling. So a lot of the people, other than the main people, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega,
Right.
a lot of the people like that, I didn't know. And then what's his name? The young kid who's in the Inner Circle that I was saying that I've loved.
Sammy Guevara.
Yeah, Sammy Guevara. Seeing young kids like him, and for the first time, and just having never seen them before. I didn't make it out that time. Seeing people like that, younger kids, and then the tag team that beat the Young Bucks, Private Party, was it?
That was.
Yeah. Have never seen them before, and they killed me. They were amazing. There was that back and forth in the second episode where he was doing the suicide dive to one side, to the other side, to the other side, to the other side, and I was just sitting there in awe of his ability. Now, a lot of people aren't always big fans of the flippy floppy stuff. They like the more down to earth stuff, but I'm a fan of any type of wrestling. So that was just amazing. I'd never seen anything like that, and I don't even know how long it's been since I've seen something like that.
Well, I have to admit, I just want to break in here, if you
Yeah.
don't mind. I have to admit that back when we were teenagers in high school, we you have to remember, we were maybe 35 minutes from WWE headquarters, and they were killing it with the Attitude Era.
Oh yeah.
So basically, and correct me if I'm wrong, pretty much in our smart circle of wrestling fans, anything WCW was like a dirty word. So like even if you watched Nitro, you didn't admit it. But the point I'm trying to get to is that now, back when I would watch the network, I found myself watching a lot of old Nitros and really looking at them with a more mature perspective, and they're more enjoyable than my stubborn adolescent teenage WWE fan mind would want to believe.
Yeah, it's really amazing if you look back at it with the I want to say knowledge that we have now, but neither of us have ever
Right.
actually been inside the business, unless you have, and you haven't told me, other than writing for the, what was it, World of Wrestling magazine back in the day.
Wild magazine, yes.
Yeah.
That was the extent of it, yes.
Yeah, and with our friend overseas as well involved in that.
Right.
Choose your character for the next match, and just when I still was subscribing to the WWE Network, I always had more fun going back and watching the old shit. Watching like original Raws, watching Attitude Era Raws, watching WCW stuff. Well, of course, watching ECW stuff because that was our big jam back in the day. I mean, my wife is definitely going to miss that thing.
Yeah,
That's an inside joke that the two of us understand. Everyone else, don't worry about it.
and ironically, my actual wife is sitting here on the couch listening to me as we broadcast.
Uh, and that's just something that happened at a ECW show with us and one of the security guys.
Right.
But yeah, just watching.
Again, if I can make a segue. Speaking of that security guy, he is actually part, along with all of Atlas Security, doing security for AEW.
Yeah, I noticed them
And
in one of the segments when I was watching.
yeah, and as you might remember from us talking off camera, I was actually at the second AEW show there ever was.
Yeah, the one in Daytona.
Daytona at Fighter Fest,
Yeah.
and my for our wedding anniversary, my wife got us the first row off the floor, so we were pretty much as close as we could get without being on the floor. We were about, I'd say, maybe 5 feet from the backstage curtain. And the reason I mention all this is because if everyone listening to us now remembers the Shawn Spears Cody Rhodes feud, that whole the chair shot, and uh, from our perspective, everybody on the floor uh, better, which meant all I could see at the time was a chair in the air swinging. I don't know who was holding it. I didn't know it actually hit, but the next thing I know, I'm in my seat, and Shawn Spears is uh, marching to the back, madder than a wet hen, and all I know is he was so close to me, physically in my airspace, that if I was standing up, he would have tripped over me. And I had no idea this was a heel turn. I didn't know what was going on. But fast forward to All Out, the cold open to All Out. They released it on YouTube like several hours before the broadcast. And in one of the blink if you miss it type of a situation, you could actually see my wife and I in the crowd clapping and smiling as Shawn Spears is giving the finger after hitting Cody with the chair. And we were clapping and smiling because Cody was walking to the back with Dean Malenko and MJF, and we were just, of course, glad he was okay.
Yeah.
But I actually, and I don't know if I told you this part, but I paused it right at that point, and I took a picture of my TV, the same TV I watched NWA Power on, and I sent the picture of the screen to my mother just to say, look, Ma, I've always wanted to say this, but look, Ma, we're on TV. And I actually, this was right before I actually left to visit her. So when she picked me up from the airport, I said, so did you get the picture I sent? And she goes, what the hell did you send me a picture for with a guy giving a middle finger and you guys are yucking it up? So I thought, out of context, that was hilarious and worth mentioning.
That is
But
pretty good.
yes, but yes, I was very fortunate and privileged to attend the second show of All Elite, and I hope to attend many more. I can't wait to attend a not taping, but a live show of Dynamite. And
I still wish they had gone with a better name than Dynamite, but
well, rumor has it, and I don't know how true this is, but when Tony Khan used to do fantasy booking and do his own feds with his action figures or whatnot,
sounds
that was
familiar.
the name he would give his show. Yeah, that was the name he would give his show. So that's how he came up with. That's how he came up with it, I guess. All right, let me focus here.
No, you're gonna no, great. Now I'm gonna be juicing. Add some color to the match if it goes the same as last night did. And the last time I've been to a live wrestling show was WrestleMania 24 with T-Bone here, which was just an amazing experience all around. For those of you who may not remember, that was the year Shawn Michaels versus Ric Flair, and Ric Flair's retirement match, the "I'm sorry, I love you" moment. For those of you who do remember and want to cry just thinking about it again, as I am right now. But I still watch.
All that hell we went through to get there.
Okay, so a couple of tires, some CV joints, and a mirror. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
But Yeah, that was the last time I've been to a live wrestling match. And part of the reason is I just don't think anything can match up again to being to my first WrestleMania. I mean, you've been to what, 4 now, 5?
Uh, 4 going on 5 next year.
I still need to get to which one have I not been to? SummerSlam. I need to get to eventually, and I've been to of all the.
And I still need to get to a Survivor Series.
The Survivor Series I was at was the debut of the Elimination Chamber, which was awesome.
I remember that.
So yeah, was that the one that that was the one that Rob Van Dam landed with his knee on Triple H's neck, right?
I believe so.
I can't remember if that was the first one, the one that I was at, or the second one. Yeah, you got the. No, I kicked out. I won't kick out again. Of course, right, I'm under the ropes now, so if you try and pin me, rope break. Yeah, I'm going to lose this match, too. But yeah, everything about AEW so far has just been amazing. I haven't seen one bad thing. Jericho's promo introducing the Inner Circle in the second episode was one of the best promos I've seen in years. Probably partially because I think with AEW, correct me if I'm wrong if you know better than I do, AEW just gives them the bullet point. There's no full-out script like there is in WWE. Yeah.
Exactly.
Like with WWE, all the promos, all these interviews you see, they're reciting exactly what Vince or whoever has written for that day wrote for them to say. In AEW, they're just given what they call bullet point promos. They're told, talk about this, and say it however you want. And just, I think that's how they did it. When did they change that in WWE to this full-on script? Like shortly after the Attitude Era?
I believe so.
Yes. Yeah. It's like when they started going into the PG era, I think it was just straight up.
Right.
And like it just shows that having bullet points promos, like, don't get me wrong, in my opinion, Jericho is one of the best on the mic and the best in the ring of all time. So there's nothing that he can't do, in my opinion, well. He can even get, like, look at how he got a frickin' clipboard over. He got the word "it" over in WWE with fully scripted promos. So, I mean, like, with Jericho, and some people might say this is sacrilegious, I think Jericho is better all time than Ric Flair.
Well, you might have a point there, because the one... meet you again.
Yeah, I guess usual.
The one other thing he got over that you didn't mention offhand was he got a bottle of champagne over with a little bit of the bubbly.
Yeah, well, he also almost got losing his title belt over.
Yeah. That
Thanks
was ridiculous.
Thanks to that.
Right.
But yeah, no, I mean, like, you look at everything. The reason I say Jericho is better all time than Ric Flair is because, and I'm not disrespecting Ric Flair. Ric Flair is definitely one of the best of all time. But I put Jericho above him because of the fact that you look at Ric Flair, you look at him in the 70s, you look at him in the 80s, you look at him in the 90s, you look at him in the aughts, it's the same persona, the same thing. The limousine riding, jet flying, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing son of a gun. And yes, I just did that off the top of my head without having it written down in front of me.
Awesome.
And you look at Jericho throughout his career. Every era of his career, he was different. He was going with the era. He was changing to match what was going on, not just trying to get his same shtick in a different era. So that's why I put. And if you ask me to judge him on the mic, it's just too damn close. They're both amazing on the mic. But again, I would probably put Jericho ahead again because he changes. With Ric Flair, it's always the same thing, ending with a long woo. Just replace the name of the person he's feuding with at any given point.
Well, growing up, my holy trinity of favorite wrestlers were Roddy Piper, then Ric Flair, then Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig. But just on the sheer fact that Jericho evolves his character and his catchphrases and his promos. I would agree with you that I would put him just a hair above Mr. Flair.
Yeah, that's again, that's some people might say that's sacrilegious putting anyone above Flair for any of that, but when you look at the evolution of the character of the person, then you definitely see, in my view, it's not so much sacrilege. Oh crap! I'm hitting the wrong button. That's why things aren't working. Oh, but I managed. No, that was you. It looked good on my side for a second. Hey, that was me. So yeah, I mean, and you look at all that through the years, yeah. So I mean, yeah, that automatic. Oh wait, I was looking at the wrong character. I don't know why I was looking at Jungle Boy. I don't have him. But yeah, so back to AEW. I mean, yeah, they've got a big head start by having Jericho, by having the Rhodes brothers. Red Shoes is down. Come on.
And it's a shame. It's a shame that we don't have all the nice rings and referees that I do on my.
Yeah. Red Shoes is fine though.
Yeah.
Well, next time we do this, we'll have you create the room, because I think that
Sounds
might.
like a plan.
Yeah.
Sounds like a plan.
Now, there's one thing I did want to bring up, and I didn't want to tell you about this because I wanted to get your raw reaction, not planned reaction on this.
Okay.
In my top list of wrestlers of all time is still Chris Benoit, despite everything that happened at the end. Despite what happened there, he will always be in my top for what he did in the ring. Now, a lot of people, like, WWE doesn't even acknowledge his existence anymore, and rightfully so because of what happened at the end. But when I was still a WWE Network subscriber, I would go back and watch a whole bunch of old Benoit matches, especially his feud with Kurt Angle, because those are some amazing matches in any era, just with things the two of them could do.
If I can just interject, we were actually at one of those matches.
Yes, we were.
Rumble 2003.
The Fink knows we exist, remember?
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you look back into the history, you look at the things he was able to do in the ring. I mean, it's horrible what happened, but at the same time, CTE wasn't known. It wasn't a known thing. So it's hard to put it in any good light what happened because of what he did. Double murder suicide is never.
I think without getting too controversial, I would just say that he wasn't evil. He was just crazy in the sense that his head wasn't right.
Yeah. Oh, what the hell did I just do?
You bid me.
Yeah, I mean, they said that the autopsy report said that his brain looked like that of an 80-something-year-old dementia patient.
Right.
So, yeah. And I know that some people, I think even you, only recently changed, refused to even watch any of his old stuff because of the end.
Well, for the longest time, it was just too hard.
Yeah. Yeah, and oh god. Yeah. So I mean, 2.9. I'm doing things wrong. I'm really just button mashing. I don't know what I'm doing, if that's not obvious. Yep, tapping out. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't easy to deal with, and just to go from that emotional Monday Night Raw, where everyone was talking great things about everything he did and everything he was in the ring, and to the next night, later that week on SmackDown, when Vince coming out and say, "You will never hear the name Chris Benoit ever again on any WWE programming ever." After the truth came out, that was just a big step up, or step down, whatever you want to say it. Now, since we're talking about step downs now, let's talk about modern day WWE.
Yes.
Because we've talked the good, we've talked the new, and now let's talk the hideous, the ugly, the what the hell are they thinking? Um, the fact of the matter is yes, I grew up a WWE fan. There was nothing until I realized, until we got more better cable and got TBS. I didn't know there was any other wrestling. I didn't see anything else. Um, and it was just, it was eye opening to say the least, and some of the other stuff out there. But now it's just eye closing to watch WWE in its modern form. I mean, yes, they're trying, but they're not. It doesn't seem like they're trying hard enough. They're still going with the straight out scripted everything as far as the promos go. They need to, if you just look at what Jericho can do with both scripted and bullet point, look what he did with WWE and look what he's doing now in AEW. He did great in the scripted promos of WWE, but you can see that he's much more alive with the bullet point promos that he's allowed to do in AEW. There's nothing, it's not stacking down on any of the stuff he was doing, especially his great work with Kevin Owens in WWE, but just seeing him do what he's doing now, just imagine if he had that freedom back in WWE. I mean, knowing a lot of the current guys in WWE, if they were given a little bit more freedom on the mic, what some of the promos, what some of the stuff would look like with that. How much better, how much worse in some cases. I think you both know which the worst case scenario I'm talking about there. But no, but in all seriousness, it's just giving a little bit more freedom to their guys. Oh, come on, stand still. There you go. That's what you get for not standing still. Shot to the plums.
Out you go.
This time I'm bringing the damn chair. Well, I can't bring the chair. Get in the ring. I don't even... that's for throwing me outside of the ring. And for being a douche. Leaving AEW because
let's get that.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry.
So, yeah, if anyone who's watched my videos knows I lose track very quickly. But yeah, it's just they're the same people getting shoved down our face. The bullshit. Oh, this is Hell in a Cell. Anything goes. Oh no, the ref's gonna stop it. Yay! What the hell were they? I'm not gonna say what the hell were they thinking. What the hell was Vince thinking at that? Because that was clearly a Vince moment right there. Yeah, just like kicking you in the punching in the balls. Because that was clearly, and now they're promoting the fucking Murder Arabia show with a match that I'm sorry, Saudi Arabia show, with a match where no one can stop it except for a 3 count or a pinfall count anywhere, or submission, nothing. Yeah, give us that here at a decent show, not some fucking... Oh, sorry. The only good thing to come out of any of the Saudi Arabia shows was the dive under the ring in the Greatest Royal Rumble. Titus O'Neil.
That was classic. Yeah.
That's the only good thing to come out of any of the Saudi Arabia shows. I mean, do I need to look at, hey, let's get people to watch the Saudi Arabia show by having The Undertaker versus Goldberg. How great is that match going to go? Oh, wait, they're both over 50. No offense to either of them. They were both great in their time. But right. 2018, 2019, whatever year that match took place, is not their time. I mean, I really hate to badmouth on a legend like The Undertaker, but no, I'm sorry.
I mean, it went downhill quickly when I think it was Goldberg that rushed him and basically sliced his head open on the turnbuckle.
Yeah, that was Goldberg.
Yeah.
The problem there is Goldberg is still trying to be 173-0 Goldberg, right. Where he's 52 and over the hill Goldberg now.
Well, I think part of the problem is that they want to build him up as the next Bruno Sammartino-esque living legend. So he's pretty much all they have.
Yeah. As far as age group wise, I mean, we can get the same thing by just letting fucking Brock Lesnar retire, so we don't have to look at him winning the belt and only showing up on TV once every 12 years. I joke, but he had a match on the last, or was it the first SmackDown on Fox, or was it the last one on USA? His match against
Kofi. On Fox.
Yeah. Just a couple of weeks ago, the first SmackDown of the new era on Fox 5 or Fox, your local Fox affiliate, was Goldberg's first was Brock Lesnar's first non-pay-per-view match in a WWE ring or house show, if he actually bothered to do that. His first regular television match in WWE ring since 2 weeks before WrestleMania 20. And yeah, so what next year is going to be what, WrestleMania 38, 37? 36. Yeah. Okay, yeah, whatever. So next year is going to be 36. But anyhow, so you got to figure that is 16 years since his last TV match. So I mean, that's just ridiculous, and giving him the title every fucking time he decides, oh hey, I want to come back and go on TV.
Well, back when we were going to these shows, I remember that the first time you and I ever went to Madison Square Garden for a wrestling show, Brock was still a OVW newbie doing tryout matches against Rico Constantino, and everyone around us thought, oh, this guy's awesome, this guy's a monster, this guy's going to be big. And then the next time, about, I guess it was 2 years later, or close to that, we go to our next garden show together. I know you went to more after me, but the next garden show together was he was the unified, or I don't know, the undisputed WWF champion. So there's that. So
yeah,
I guess my point was they pushed him far and fast, and it was just amazing that 2 trips to the garden.
Yeah.
Roman
Reigns, piece of shit. I'm sorry, I had a little cough going on there.
Okay.
Yeah, and just I know the thing you told me off camera the other day about what they're going to do with Roman, but the fact that they actually have to do that with Roman, they have to use him like, oh, he's going to lose his first match clean in 15 years. No, I know not 15 years, but it seems that way sometimes.
Yeah.
Just to push over getting NXT Japan to be a thing. Yeah, that's just... How many times is, like... Everyone, like look at the whole... with Braun Strowman, the ambulance night. Everything that Braun did, and like a week later, he's back and not feeling a thing. I mean, granted...
That whole thing was ridiculous.
Yeah. Everything that they've tried to push down our throats with Roman has been ridiculous, to the point where I don't know how you didn't freak out horribly and never watch wrestling again after WrestleMania. The last one you were at, where it was Roman versus The Undertaker, his second loss. Yeah, 33.
Well, I'll be honest, for a while it's just, or to this day, it's just a habit to tune in, but the only difference is now it's like have it on in the background, and whenever something great happens, which is very few and far between, at least I'm able to see it. But no, I mean I just watch it because it's there, and I don't really pay attention to it anymore.
I mean, I could do the same because I could watch it on my phone on my cable company's app at work. But the fact of the matter is no, I'm not going to waste my time at work paying attention to that rather than doing the stuff I'm supposed to do. Even if it is just a background sound, because there's nothing... I mean, the fact of the matter is I think one of the biggest downsides to WWE these days is they're not giving enough to top of the page things to the actual wrestlers, to themselves. I mean, everything is, we're going to bring in the last great UFC person. We're gonna bring in a boxer to face someone. Now, granted that Floyd Money Mayweather versus Big Show when we were at WrestleMania 24, but that actually kind of worked rather than because it was just going to be a one-time thing, not, oh, we're going to sign Ronda Rousey to a huge contract because she's one of the greatest women in UFC history. Yeah, and she's a big fan of wrestling. Yeah, she's a big fan of wrestling, but she's used to UFC where everything is, for lack of a better term, real. Where everything is fight until your opponent can't stand anymore, actually not pulling punches, stuff like that. And she's done nothing in a WWE ring that I've seen or heard of that has made me change my mind about being a fan of hers. Same thing with Brock. All it is German, 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 maybe one offensive move from the opponent. German, 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 maybe one offensive move. German, 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 F5, the end of match. Name me one Brock Lesnar match that doesn't go that.
If there is, it's too far I can remember.
Yeah, it's just German, 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 maybe one offensive move, posing. Yeah, it's ridiculous. And I'm not even watching now, but I know they got that boxer in to fight against Braun Strowman. I forget his name.
Tyson Fury.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is they need to bring in people like that. Why do they need to bring in people like that to face Braun? When the fact of the matter is he'll destroy you in 3 seconds flat, throw you in an ambulance and flip the ambulance, make it look like you're never going to walk again, and then a week later, oh, what ambulance flipped? That never happened. You don't need to bring in someone that's a boxer and a real fighter to actually, like, deal with someone like that. You just gotta have, like, fucking... All you gotta do is fucking bring back James Ellsworth. James Ellsworth will destroy him this time. And it'll be believable, the WWE fans.
Well, just as I'm hearing you talking, I'm reminded of a few weeks ago I was visiting that same mutual friend of ours that I spoke of earlier, and it just so happened to coincide with the week that NXT was debuting on USA. Now this person doesn't have the network, network proper, so he was able to get it afterward. And so we all watched it together. It was my wife and I and himself and a couple members of his family. And we were just watching, and the pacing of the matches and the camera angles and everything, it was getting boring. So basically what he did was, after we saw Velveteen Dream because we like Velveteen Dream.
Yeah,
but after that,
everyone's allowed their wrong opinion.
Yeah, well, the camera angles were just so making us seasick. So basically, what we decided was he had WrestleMania 8 saved on a DVD somewhere. So we watched that, and we actually decided on seeing Piper versus Brett, and just the action of Piper versus Brett, the promos, the blood, the fact that Monsoon and Heenan were doing commentary. It was just much more enjoyable, night and day. It was like, wow.
Ah! I almost had a win. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, just for people who are fans or casual fans, it was a perfect example of the current product not being as, I guess, eye-catching as as it was in '92.
Yeah. Well, you bring up a perfect example. Another thing is commentary these days. It's just fed into the ear. Say this, say this, say this, say this bullshit, coming from everyone up in the back. You bring up the perfect example. I think the perfect duo in WWE commentary history, Monsoon and Heenan.
For sure.
I don't think there's a better commentary duo. I love JR and the King, but Monsoon and Heenan, I don't think there's a better ever. If you need the perfect example of why they were the perfect duo, just watch the 1992 Royal Rumble. The one with Flair wins the title at the end. That is, number one, perfect Heenanisms the entire way through. I think the best part about that one was going from when Piper saved Flair from being eliminated. It's not a skirt, it's a kilt. It's a kilt. Oh, I love you, Piper. And then 2 minutes later, when he tries to eliminate Flair, you skirt wearing creep. Yeah, exactly. Heenan, rest his soul, one of the best ever as far as that goes, and the perfect foil with Monsoon. I almost want to give WWE my money again for the network just so I can go back and watch some of those old things again. I mean, yeah, I know I can find the stuff online somewhere, maybe not as legally, but the fact of the matter is just to hear those two go at it again. Yeah, it's almost worth the $10 a month.
Luckily, the event you're talking about in question, the very first DVD set they released on Ric Flair had the entire Rumble match of '92 on it, and I still have the DVD, so I can go back and watch it whenever I want.
Actually, I think I have that too. Actually, I think I have that too still. I might have lost it when I moved, but I know I did have it at one point. I'll have to look through my DVD stacks afterwards.
Come on, I gotta get serious.
Oh! God damn it! I'm so close to winning for the first time. But yeah, that's just one of the things to me is it just doesn't jump. Yes! Yes! With the cocky pin, I get my first win.
First win at this game ever?
Yes. See, I just got the trophy and how sweet it is. Sorry. Yeah. Where were we going there? We were talking about
Oh, it was on the DVD, and you said you have it.
I think I might still have it. But yeah, I mean, like, and every so often, like, the only we're not going to do another match. I'm just going to leave the rest of it on this win screen to show my first win. Sorry, but no, just to look at. Yeah, it's like the commentator. I mean, like, how many times can you hear Michael Cole yell, "Superman punch! Superman punch!" before you just want to reach through the screen and rip his throat out so you never have to hear him say a word again. It was actually...
Heenan says, "I need a drink. Hey, you stupid, get me a drink."
Yeah.
I promise I'll never do anything bad again if you just let him win.
And the only positive in recent years on commentary, and other people might disagree with me on this one, was Corey Graves. Corey Graves, I think, brought a lot to the commentary booth that we haven't seen in years.
I have to agree with that. If anybody were to come anywhere close to Bobby Heenan, it would be Corey Graves.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely the closest to me, in my opinion, being a modern-day Bobby Heenan on the mic for the commentary. Great job by him and everything he's done. I really wish he hadn't had those injuries so he could still be wrestling, but at the same time, without those injuries, I don't think we would have gotten as Corey Graves as we knew Corey Graves. So, I hate to say thank you injuries, but thank you injuries? Yeah, so, yeah, there was a lot of tangents going off today. We're definitely going to have to do a part 2 of this and maybe actually, give ourselves bullet points rather than just freeform it. Don't get me wrong, this has been entertaining as hell, especially because I won my first match. Who won that last match? It wasn't you. Oh, that's right, it was me. Okay, now I'm turning into Richard Hammond. Sorry about that. Sore winner. All right. Yeah, we'll definitely do a part 2 of this sometime soon. Keep your eyes open for that. T-Bone, anything you want to say on signing off?
Well, again, just I was honored to be your first guest, and hope to do so again. It was a pleasure.
Absolutely. So this is the GameUhEr and T-Bone signing off. We'll catch you on the flip side. Hopefully I'll have another guest episode in the next week or two. If not, we might just do another T-Bone episode next week. If you're watching this still, thank you very much. If you want to be a guest and you've got the Xbox One or PlayStation 4, let me know. We'll find a game, we'll talk, and we'll play. Until next time, and see y'all later.
Bye now.
Oops. We're still